Hi guys, I'm Dimension Jumper, and today I'll be doing my top 5 villains that I would like to see appear in Spider-Man PS4 2. So for this list, I'm gonna be talking about some of the villains that might potentially or possibly appear in the Spider-Man PS4 sequel, with number 5 being the most likely. So a villain that will obviously come into the game, and with number 1 being less likely to be in the game. So for number 5 is Venom. Now, obvious reason for this is because at the end of at the end of the main game, you get to see Norman Osborn going into his secret lab thing in his penthouse, which is the same lab MJ goes in for that secret spy type mission thing. And the obvious reason is because Norman Osborn sees this tank and he opens it, and you get to see Harry Osborn in this sort of like decaying type state. And the reason why I think Venom is going to be in the game is because Norman places his hand onto the glass, and then you get to see this black ooze just hitting the glass, and that's obviously going to be Venom. And I would like to see, it was probably going to be like Venom is going to be like more of a lab experiment than an alien symbiote. That I think that's where they go in the sequel, unlike how Venom was done in the comics, sort of. So that could be a possibility. For number 4 is the Green Goblin. Now I would like to have the Green Goblin to be the main villain of the game, because I would like to see him go down a similar route of how Otto became Dr. Octopus, because the Green Goblin is, of course, Norman Osborn, and I would like to see Norman going down the path that will eventually lead him into becoming the Green Goblin. So him trying to find not only a cure for Harry, but in doing so he tries all these different things which will lead him into becoming the Green Goblin, then him becoming the main villain. But I would like to see like him using Venom behind the scenes, but then eventually revealing himself to be the main villain, who's been pulling all the strings in the background. For number 3 is Sandman. Now, what I like about Sandman is that, apart from just being a person who can basically make himself into sand, is that in the game, there's a particular mission you can do, which is collecting different backpacks around New York, and in one of the backpacks I think is a vial of sand, and I think Spider-Man says that if it releases the sand, Sandman might reform, and I would like to see that. So like if, let's say, Spider-Man is taking the vial of sand to a research laboratory and he gets into a fight, he could accidentally drop and break the vial, and that would create like a duplicate Sandman or something, like probably the same Sandman, but a bit different part of Sandman. If you get what I mean, probably like a weaker version of Sandman, because that part is from like probably a small part of the original Sandman, but it does have the same kind of like abilities and things that the Sandman has. So yeah. For number 2 is Mysterio. Now Mysterio is really cool, because I really like how he was portrayed in Far From Home, but there could be a possibility he might not be in the game, because I think you get like a piece of Mysterio's fishbowl helmet, and I think he says, Spider-Man says something about how Mysterio fell off like a building or something. I'm not too sure, but I would like to see if that was an illusion, because obviously Mysterio is the master of illusions, and I would like to see that possibility, but there's a high possibility he might not appear in the game. And for number 1, the villain that I think will least likely appear in the game is probably the Chameleon. And the Chameleon is basically this villain who can basically become anybody. And the reason why I think he's least likely to be a villain in the game is because He's just a chameleon. He's a dude who can become anybody. I mean, like, he's only mentioned in one mission, and that's basically Spider-Man has to find this other Spider-Man who's pretending to be him. But if he does appear in the game, I would like to see him be in like a smaller mission, kind of like how Tombstone was in a sort of small mission. I would like to see, if Chameleon is pulled into the game, I would like to see something like that. So yeah, that's been my top 5 villains that I would like to see in Spider-Man PS4 2. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.